I'm a boomer. I can fake it. Okay.
That's right.
Hey, everybody on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, whatever. Here is Julie Scoggins. Woo!
Hey, everybody.
Say hi. Say hi. What you got to say to people, Julie?
Hey, I hope everybody's behaving. Are you staying at home? That's why this is so quiet, because it's just everybody in their own little bubble.
Yes. Yes.
So I hope everybody's staying at home and they're not all alcoholics. I keep looking at the clock to see if it's okay to get a drink yet. I mean, it's getting earlier every day.
So you've been doing comedy for decades. I was at Harvey's, and you were my first comedy and my favorite comedy interview ever. Everybody else I said it to, I was faking it. This was my favorite because she was I broke my cherry with you, my comedy interviewing cherry.
I hope I was gentle.
I'll never forget it.
Oh, well, good. At least it was memorable.
Yeah, totally better than 7 years of marriage. I know he's my friend. He probably heard that. So, how many decades have you been doing comedy? More than 2, right?
Just a little more than 2.
Because I saw your Huh?
Not much, just a little more than 2.
What were you thinking to get into comedy, to take the bullet for other people? Like we're the heroes in the world.
I didn't see it that way. I just did it because it was fun. And then when I started to get a little bit better at it, I decided my husband and I had just moved back from living in St. Thomas, and we didn't have jobs. And so he started to sort of nudge me and say, hey, we've been out of work for months now. It's time for us to start thinking about what we're going to do to make a living. And I did not want to go back to doing what I did before, which was work for Frito-Lay as a route salesperson, which is not a bad job, but
no.
It was just time for something new, and I didn't want to go back to doing that. And so we had toured around the country. We went on like an extended vacation in between jobs. And we went to a bunch of comedy clubs, and I just thought that was the neatest thing ever. And so I decided maybe I could do that instead of like actually working. Well, little did I know that it didn't pay very well. And, so my advice to anybody starting out in stand-up comedy is to have another job while you're getting started. Or have money in the bank, or preferably both, because you will be poor for a while. Yeah. And that was just when I started. I don't know what it's like now, because now, and now with all this coronavirus and stuff, I can't imagine what it would be like to be trying to start out in stand-up comedy and make a living at it. Right now, everything's closed.
God, it's horrible. In these Zoom comedy shows, some of the people have been able to break that fifth wall and actually make it interactive, where the comics get to hear the laughter.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. The hardest thing about doing interviews or doing auditions is because auditions frequently, like for Last Comic Standing, for example, they're frequently 3 people sitting at a desk.
Yes.
Or a long table. And they don't laugh at anything. You're number 43 for the day, and they are hungry. They don't care. And so it's hard to get any feedback. They just nod, if that. And then, so you just have to hope that you did a good job and that you're what they're looking for. So
yes.
For laughter in the Zoom thing is really a good thing. I'm glad somebody's figured out how to do that.
Yeah. I got to go to Last Comic Standing with a guy George Salt's out of New York. I got to go with him to watch, and it was like cold as ice in there, but he had the cameraman shaking the camera.
It was. They like to keep those places freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's something to do with equipment, or so people can wear long sleeves, or maybe it makes you sharper. Because, when it's warm, you get sleepy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy.
Or maybe it's just a menopausal woman in charge of the thermostat. It could be that.
What's the funniest dang thing you've seen when you've been on stage or at a club?
The funniest thing?
Yeah.
The funniest thing that I've ever seen on stage. Well, one time a fight broke out. Well, actually, there's been a couple of times fights have broken out. I wouldn't say that was funny. It was just unusual.
Yeah.
One time I was in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Looney Bin, and it was open mic night, and that's like a Wednesday. It's usually an off night, right? And it was like a Wednesday night, and the rule there is to get on the stage as an open micer, you have to bring like 5 paying people with you to get a slot. And so most of the people that were in that room, there was only 30 people maybe, and most of them were there to support their comic friend, their wannabe comic friend, And so frequently when the open mic is over, they lose interest.
Wow, yeah.
Because their guy is finished, so they don't care about the rest of the show, or they're drunk or whatever. Well, this night, the other 2 professional comedians were in the back of the room. I was on the stage finishing up. It had been a long night. I don't remember how many open mic people. But apparently somebody got in an argument in the audience over a girl. And next thing I hear, MF this, MF that. Well, you want to take it outside? Yeah, let's take it outside. And they go out the door. And right then, all the audience got up and went with them. And so I'm just standing there on the mic. The other 2 hired comedians are in the back of the room, and a couple of wait staff, maybe just one server because it was a slow night. And we're all just standing there going, what? What the heck just happened? So I just went, well, I guess I'm done. Thank you. Good night.
Gee.
We wanted to go outside and watch the fight, actually.
One night when I was at Harvey's in the little room, they were running a mic, and behind us was glass windows, and there were some homeless people, and they were getting into it. So the host, he's a little bit on the spectrum, and he thought it would be a good idea to tap on the glass and taunt them. And so, and then I got to go on stage right after. Jeez.
Oh, I'll tell you something. One of the toughest nights I ever had was there was this fella that was a local MC, and it was where was that? Chattanooga. It was in Chattanooga at the old Comedy Catch. They moved now, but this was in this old building they used to be in downtown. Anyway, and he had been emceeing at this club for years and years, and the owner, of course, knew him very, very well. Well, they only paid him, I don't know. They paid him some terrible crap money, like $25 a show or something. And he was already kind of disgruntled about that. And then the owner of the club made the mistake of talking out loud where the other guy could hear him. And he was saying that the MC spot was easy and anybody could do it. And his he said, my 12-year-old daughter could do that. So this guy heard it. He's already getting paid crap, right? So he is fed up. He has already been thinking about quitting. and so he goes up to introduce me. The show begins. I'm in the back of the room. He goes up on the stage and proceeds to tell the entire audience how this club owner is such a piece of crap and that he's not going to be talked to that way and disrespected. The guy wasn't even talking to him. He just overheard it, right? He goes, he doesn't appreciate me, and I'm not going to put up with that, and I quit. Oh, here's your next comedian, Julie Scoggins. It was terrible. It was so bad. The whole crowd was just staring at me like, what just happened? And I said the same thing. I'm like, what was that all about? What just happened? So I introduced myself again. We just started over. That's all I knew to do, you know.
I love your comedy so much because it's like 98.5% clean.
98.5 is good. That's actually generous.
And you have this thing that you do at the end of your set. And do you know what I'm referring to when...
Yep. Yes. But you won't ever see that broadcast online anywhere because I don't want to spoil it.
No. And that's why I went real slow because I figured it was top secret information. You got to get out and hear Julie Scoggins because you will never hear what the hell she does at the end of her set. It's killer. I died.
That's fun. Yeah.
So comedian, there's a lady on here named Comedian Miss Arkansas, Cynthia Rudd in Vegas, and she also interviews comics. She's a headliner here, and she would love to interview you sometime too.
That would be fine. I'd love for her to do that.
Wonderful. So you also entertain the troops. I want to hear about that, of course, because I'm a vet.
What branch?
I was Army, and I've done comedy on the West and East Coast at hospitals and stand downs for vets. I did 1,000 men in one night.
Wow.
Take that, Madonna.
I think that should be on your tombstone. Someday.
So tell me about your military tours, if you would, when you did comedy.
Where were you stationed? Were you over in Europe?
Yes, 73 Hanau, Germany. Nowhere's. I was like in the Minneapolis of Germany. I was in Nowheresville, Hanau, Germany.
Hanau.
It's where the Grimm brothers are from, and my parents survived the Holocaust. So my Grimm beats their Grimm.
I'd say it does, without question. I've never heard of that place. I'm actually going back to Germany right now. We were scheduled for May, but of course the virus had other plans. But now we're tentatively mid-August. We're going to go back. So that I just love doing it, though. That is the most fun thing ever.
Yes.
It's so fun, yeah. And they love it. The troops all love it. And they're young. They're so young. Oh, God. They're so young. I told one group of them, I'll tell you something funny. There was this, I was in Norway, and there were maybe, 300 people in the auditorium. And it was all men. All guys, except for like 6 girls that were right in the middle of the room, and they were all sitting right together. And I looked at those girls, and I asked the group. I said, "What's the ratio on this base of men to women?" And they said about 50 to 1. And I was like, "Well, damn, I'm hot."
Wow.
So yeah, and I said, y'all not, I turned to the girls, I said, y'all not gay, are you? Because that'd piss off everybody in this room. But, and they were like, no, we're not gay. And I said, I'm going to tell you girls a little story. Because I'm trying to help these little children that's out here. You know. I said, when I was a little girl growing up, we had a pond behind our house, and there were ducks on it, and they were mallards. There was like 8 of them, and it was 7 boy ducks and 1 girl duck. And I said, let me tell you something. That girl duck, the whole back of her head was all pecked up, and the feathers were gone off of it. She looked stressed, like she needed a vacation. I said, I'm just saying, you girls, I might suggest y'all get a helmet. Y'all need a helmet. And then I said, the Jergens bill for this base must be through the roof. I told those girls, I said, thank you for your service.
Boy. When I
can't imagine being a minority like that.
Yeah. In 73, when I was in Germany in the army, I was one woman among 2,000 men, and I don't have a punchline for that. Boy, would I pay you for a punchline.
Boy, I'm going to turn you this way so the light isn't on my glasses.
Yep.
That might be better. Is that better?
Yeah, I like your t-shirt. Talk birdie to me.
Oh, yeah, my bird.
Is it a parrot that you have?
You want to see her?
Yeah, we want to see your bird. Show us your bird. Flip us the bird. How many bird puns?
Okay, wait. You want to see the bird?
Yeah, show us your bird.
There she is.
Yay! What kind of bird is it? Hi, birdie.
She's a green-cheeked conure.
Okay.
She likes to sit on my shoulder. There she is.
Oh. So, does she have a good sense of humor?
She's spoiled. She's going through some stuff right now. She's hormonal.
Is that for real?
Yeah, and she's laid 3 eggs.
No way.
Since the end of February, and that's never. I mean, I've had her 19 years, and she's never done that. And so I'm at the end of my rope trying to figure out how to keep her from doing it. It's not good for them because it uses up calcium and all kinds of stuff.
Wow. Does she talk?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's her name?
Not well. Cheeky.
Hi, Cheeky. Cheeky, 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 cheeky. Hi. She looks.
I FaceTime her. When I go to Europe, I FaceTime her.
Oh.
Because I miss her.
She loves you.
She's rotten. I've had her since she was 4 months.
Wow. Tell me the story how you got her.
My husband came home with her. He wanted a bird because I was gone all the time. He wanted a bird. And then when he got her, she bonded with me. So she tolerated him. She was pretty good. She's pretty good with. She likes a lot of people.
Well, I know you met my sister and my brother-in-law, but guess what my mother had?
What?
A bird.
What?
She had a bird on her shoulder the last 10 years of her life.
I understand that.
Yeah, she had a bird on her shoulder while she was running a tavern with Dobermans around her. Nobody messed with her. That's such a gorgeous dog. I mean, bird.
Hold on. Let me go put her down. Hold
okay. That's a gorgeous dog. That's the best looking dog I ever saw.
What?
I called your bird a dog and I'm laughing at myself. It's the best looking dog I ever saw.
She's my baby. I say she's my emotional support bird.
Yes, yes.
I miss her when I go away. I really miss her. She's a good girl.
Right now, I bet you could sneak an animal into any country better than a person.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't fly. I've never flown with her.
Haven't?
Nah. No.
How many days out of the year usually are you on the road around the world?
Well, I was working for a carnival for the cruise lines.
Yep.
Which I absolutely love. That is the best job. I'm telling you, that is the best job ever. It's the most fun place I've ever been. Week after week after week, it's a whole new group of people. Every week you get 3 or 4,000 new people to see you every week. And it's so good. And everybody is so happy, and they're in party mode. And a lot of the ships are based in southern ports, Florida, Galveston, Texas. I do some out of Long Beach, California. I mean, we get a lot of Oregon people out of Long Beach.
Wow.
A lot. Yeah, and I like to tell my story about going to the cannabis dispensary in Portland. I talk about that.
Oh, wow.
Because most of those people aren't from anywhere they have that sort of thing, so they are interested in hearing about it.
When this whole pandemic clears up, I'm going to book a cruise on your ship. And
I hope you do. I think that would be really, really fun.
I would really love
I'm off all day. I don't have to, when I'm performing on a ship, I'm off all day.
Well, let's go party. We'll have fun.
I know. I can day drink as long as I'm sober by the time I got to go to work.
What a great job, Julie.
I know it. I get to go out and ride the water slides and go scuba diving. If we're at a port, I can do whatever.
How many times have you taken your husband?
I told him I'm still on probation. I told him, I said, I've got to work for Carnival for at least 6 months before I can take anybody with me. No, really, I told him, I said, I have to work there a year, 1 year, a year and a half, 2 years. And then he can go.
Sometimes it's just better not to mix business with pleasure.
No.
Yeah, my sister, I love her, but she's never come to one of my comedy shows. I think every time I do comedy for her, she tells me, I really love Ellen DeGeneres. Oh, guess who I met? Golly Croup. Julie Scoggins. Never listened to me on stage. Too painful. To her, it's like an open mic.
Some people they would never go to a comedy show. They'll watch it if it's on the TV, if they're clicking and there it is. They might look at it for about a minute. And but a lot of people just aren't comedy fans. I mean, I find that so hard to believe, but it's true. I mean, there's people that are just not kidding. They don't like kidding and jokes. They're very linear with their thinking, and those are the people that when you try to tell them a joke, they kind of go. And it's not that they don't get it. It's just that they're processing it in a different way. They're not hearing it just for the basic value. They're working too hard.
Yes. And if they're not linear, they've been made fun of that they don't get jokes. So then that just pushes them further away. That's just, yeah.
Yep.
But God bless them, because they're the reason we do comedy some of the time.
I tell you, I used to teach a class in it, and every now and again we'd get people that came in. We'd always ask, what's your day job? What do you do? What's your training? Just to get to know them and get a little background. And I was amazed at how many of them were like accountants. And I would think, well, you're not going to be funny at all, because they're so logical. They're math people. They're not artists.
Exactly.
They're left brain. They're left brain and right brain, and they're left brain. But amazingly enough, though, some of them actually are good comics. But I don't know of any I'm trying to think if I know any of them that ever became full-time comedians. I know one and she moved to Nashville, and she's very funny. She was in the same class that I took, not that I taught. But yeah, but not often.
There's this one comic in Portland, and I can't even remember his name. He's an engineer by trade, and when he gets in a groove, there's nobody funnier than him, and it just,
how about that?
Yeah, shocks the hell out of me.
Right? Yeah, you wouldn't expect a left brain thinker. Well, my husband's funny, and he's an engineer, but he's got a very dry sense of humor, and he's sharp. He points out weird things. Like one time we took our motorcycles on a trailer. We drove in February. We pulled our motorcycles down to Florida so we could ride them, when it was snow on the ground everywhere else. And by the time we got down there, it was in the spring. And I went for an interview on the radio, and my husband went with me, and they just gave him a microphone. They said, "Here, you sit over here." Well, he's never done that. And so we had driven a pickup truck down there, pulling a trailer, and it happened to be Earth Day that day that he was interviewing us. And the DJ looked at me, he goes, "Well, today's Earth Day. Have you guys done anything special for it?" And my husband, he didn't even blink. He goes, "Well, we drove a vehicle 600 miles that gets 8 miles to the gallon." And they both just went. And he didn't even blink, man. He's quick. He's pretty quick.
So this whole shutdown has had to affect you financially.
Yep.
So do you want to speak to that, or do you want me to ask you a couple questions?
Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat as everybody that's in the entertainment business, and the same boat, literally, with Carnival. I got an email this morning from Carnival Cruise Lines that said they have officially extended their shutdown now till June 27th.
Wonderful. Jeez Louise, holy crap almighty.
So that's June. We're at April 13th today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So April, we're looking at all of May, the rest of April, all of May, and most of June. No ships. But I'm hoping some land gigs are going to come back, but who knows who will get those? Like if I were to pick up a club gig, I mean, everybody is going to go into motion at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for bookers to coordinate because they get inundated with comedians' requests for work all the time as it is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
No, it's going to be horrible. So have you gotten on any of the Zoom on the internet comedy shows? Are you going after them?
I haven't sought them out.
Yeah.
I just haven't. But I was on one Saturday night. It was on the Comedy Zone Charlotte on their Facebook. They did a Facebook Live. They actually had everyone to submit material first, like to send them video clips.
Good.
And then they assembled a nice montage of 15-minute clips of like 3 or 4 different comics. And we recorded a little intro, about, thank you for staying at home, hang in there, that sort of thing. And then they mashed them all together, and they had a nice Facebook Live. I did that the other night it aired. So
And that's the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. Yes, my home club. That's my home club.
Yeah. So you've made it to a pretty high degree in comedy, so people at home probably think you're a hero.
Charlotte's a big city. There's a lot of professional athletes and stuff that have hero status, not me, but
Who's the biggest celebrity in Charlotte? That's not where Vanna White? She's from Charleston, South Carolina, right?
She's from Myrtle Beach.
Oh, okay. Who's big in your
who's
town?
that little fella? There's a country singer that's big, Luke something.
Oh, Luke Bryan.
No, not him. There's another one, Luke.
Lucas Nelson?
No, that's Willie's son.
Yeah.
This is another guy, Luke something. Anyway, he's from Charlotte. He's probably the biggest celebrity we got.
Okay.
Right now. I mean, it's one here one day, gone the next, in entertainment.
Yes.
I think of who else is from Charlotte. Andy McDowell, she's from Lancaster. She's from South Carolina. She's not from Charlotte.
Don't you love her acting?
Mm-hmm. She's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know what she does. She takes me to a whole nother place.
I just see her on those commercials.
Yeah.
For makeup or Clairol or something. She's on the.
So pretty. Oh, she's so pretty and captivating, and her acting is stellar.
Yep, she's good. That's the only ones I can think of that's from around here.
What advice do you have for young comics? Because now, finally, there's younger comics in the business than me. Young comics like free advice because they're always looking for the shortcuts. So what do you got for them?
Well, the number one thing I would say to somebody trying to get started is every time you go on the stage, you tape yourself. Whether it's video or not, doesn't matter. You can use a hand recorder, just an audio only. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be good quality. You don't have to go spend a bunch of money. Nothing. Just get something that you can do it on your phone. Just use the voice memo thing on your phone and record yourself every time, and then go back and listen to it. And sometimes you'll think you did great, and then you won't hear anybody laughing. And then other times you'll think you stank it up and bombed, and you'll go back and listen to it and find out you really didn't do as bad as you thought you did. And then once you record your set, night after night after night, and you must go and you must get on the stage every single night you can. Once a week isn't good enough. You need to drive, everywhere that's within driving distance in one night, you need to go and do it. And then, this is the best advice anybody ever gave me. I'm going to give it to you. And it holds true to this day. It doesn't matter how old you are or anything. Go online and go on YouTube and just pick 3 or 4 comedians that you like, and set your phone down. Do it on a laptop or something, or have a stopwatch or a second hand on your watch or whatever, or have a clock in front of you with a second hand. The minute that comic that you're watching starts talking, you begin to time them, and you time how long it took for them to get the first laugh they got, and you mark it second, third, fourth. And you can do all that for 1 minute, for the first minute. All right. Then you go back and you get your video or your audio, and you listen to yourself, and you time how long it takes for you to get your first laugh, your second, your third, the fourth, for the first minute. And you'll do enough of them with enough different styles of comedians, you'll get a feel for it. And if your pattern does not match closely to these people that you're listening to, fix it. Fix it. Get to the first laugh sooner. Shorten the time in between them. Whether that means eliminating unnecessary words or just don't muddy it up saying too much.
Yeah.
Don't say don't say when you're trying to think of what to say next. Those are the worst. They're fillers. Don't do that. But the best advice anybody ever gave me was to tape myself and then compare the laughs per minute to someone who was where I wanted to be.
Cool. I love
I
that.
tell you, that will always serve you, always.
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much. So, how do you stay positive in this pandemic? And what advice do you have for the world, comics or not, to stay positive?
Well, I've lived long enough. We haven't been through this.
No.
But
Ha! Hey.
I haven't lived through this, but through a pandemic before. But I've been through enough stuff. Like after 9/11 happened, the economy went to crap, and interest rates. Nobody was buying houses, and I mean everything just went into a recession. And you know what? We survived it. And we came out, we learned a little bit from it, and hopefully it helped people learn what to do with their money better.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if you have some, you got to have some to learn how to do with it.
Speaking of which, if people want to donate to Julie Scoggins on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, where do you suggest they do it?
PayPal.
And what's your PayPal handle, Julie?
It's just Julie@juliescoggins.com.
Got it.
That's my email. Yeah.
Great. One of the things that I know about you from watching you at Harvey's when I was there is that you're a marketer. You're brilliant at keeping tabs of your fans and having them keep tabs of you. Do you want to talk about some of your tricks or not?
Well, I mean, you work it backwards. Like if you as a comedy fan, you think about that. How do you find out when someone you want to see is coming to town? How do you find that out? And then I, as a comedian, have to make sure that I make myself available that way.
Got it.
So if you find out by going online and looking at the website for the club or subscribing to their mailing list or whatever, then I got to make sure that I'm on that and that they are sharing my information with their audience and their subscribers. And then I have my mailing list that I do as well, which you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put pieces of paper. I have them printed, and they say, "Want to know when Julie's coming back?" And it says, "Write your email address here and hand it to Julie on the way out," or something like that. Well, and I put those on all the tables before every show. And 3 weeks before I'm going to come back to a club,
mm-hmm.
I will send an email out to everybody who has filled those out. And because I don't want to spam anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not buying mailing lists because I don't want to make anybody mad. I mean, I hate getting spam.
Yeah.
Everybody hates it. So I want to make sure that it's only people who ask me to contact them. But yeah, they do that. And then I don't do a newsletter or any of that. I just email whenever I'm coming back.
Nobody.
And I always put everything on Facebook too, on my Facebook cover photo.
Uh-huh.
You know, the one that goes behind you on your profile. And I always put my tour dates for the next couple of months. I always put the text up there so that people can it's just one stop. It's super easy.
I'll be watching for that because I want to catch you whenever you're around Vegas. So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely. But I want to go on a cruise. I haven't gone on a cruise since my mom was alive. So 2002. Yeah.
Well, I bet they're cheap.
Yeah.
Listen, if I were you, I would book one now.
Okay.
And get it while I bet you, right before they shut down, right before they ceased operation, they were offering a 5-day for like $250.
Whoa.
And you could book it for 9 months from now. and then just go whenever you were sure all this mess was over. They're not going to go out of business. Carnival's the biggest cruise line in the world.
So I can book
They're not going out of business now.
So
they might put some ships in dry dock for a while, but because I know they've announced that 3 of them are going to be taken out of service right now. But they probably need to go remodel them anyway.
Yeah. So I can book a cruise and then I can switch the dates.
Or just book it now for I don't know, 9 months from now or whatever, 3 months from now, and go look. I mean, I don't know.
And then when I find out when you're going to be doing a cruise, I can switch it to your date?
You know what? I don't know that because, and I don't know how you can plan because they book comedians 2 months out.
Okay.
And nobody waits that late to book a cruise. Everybody wants the plans to be made sooner than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have people ask me all the time, how can we go on a cruise that you are doing? And I'm like, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Because they'll ask me for my dates. They'll ask me if the ships are starting back June 27th, they'll ask me at the end of April for my available dates. Well, I can tell them right now it's pretty wide open.
Definitely. So I would love to know if you figure out the next cruise you're on. I want to be on the first time you go on a cruise. I'm saving up money.
I'll put that'll be on my Facebook cover. The day that I book a new ship, it will be on my Facebook cover photo.
I'll look there and I'll book it.
I promise. Yeah. And maybe you'll still be able, you know what? I bet you'll still be able to get it because it's going to be a slow startup.
Yeah, slow.
They're not going to be sold out.
No.
They're not going to be sold out yet. Mm-mm. There's a lot of people that, they're out of money or out of jobs, and they're not going to spend their money on vacations yet when they're behind on their cars and they're behind on their houses, their mortgage payments. Some people may not spend money on cruises yet, but there's a lot of people, they're retired. This really hasn't affected them. I mean, not financially. They're still getting their retirement, and so they might be the people that still go. And there's a lot of people that are real dedicated cruisers too. There's diamond and platinum, and man, they must have a lot of money.
Maybe I'll talk my sister and brother-in-law to coming, so at least I can see them laugh at some comic.
Good. It's the best. I hope you do it. I hope you do.
If I say I'm doing it, you're going to see me there. That's the way I roll.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got to know you because I started at Harvey's. First of all, I went to high school with Barry. Had a big crush on him. He didn't know I existed. And so I'd walk by his house every day. So he'd, well, it was a stalking thing. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, every time I went, I told him, one of these days I'm going to get trained and I'm going to be on your stage. And I did it. So when I say I'm going to do something, eventually but this one I'm saying the very first cruise, Julie. I'm going to be on your very first cruise. You just watch.
I hope you do it.
I will. And at Harvey's, I would watch every show of every comic from the back. And I would stare at your picture before I met you. And I thought, now that's the one I want to meet. Because we're women, right? In this male thing. And every time somebody would find out that I wasn't just a fan, that I was actually a comic, they would say, well, you've got to meet Julie Scoggins. And yeah, I have had that told to me so many times. That and Maria Bamford.
Wow. That's good company. She's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Is there anything you want to say to people?
Just keep supporting, keep going to live comedy shows. Once we fire back up, everybody is going to be starving for fun and to be together again. That's what we miss. I'm a hugger. I like hugging people. I miss that. I miss being out and meeting people and having so much fun. And it's just the best job. But you need to go, don't stay at home and watch it on the TV. Go out and spend that money. You know what? For the cost to get into a comedy show, it's cheaper than a movie.
Yep.
It's way better, and no two are ever the same. You've seen that. Even if you go to the same comedian every single night and they have the same show, the crowd is different. The energy is different. It's always something unique about it. So it's just beautiful. It's a wonderful experience. Go.
If you go see Julie Scoggins live, you've got to go to the early show and stay for the next show, because she's not the same twice in a row. I'm telling you, she plays with the audience differently, and you have surprises up your sleeve.
Well,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Yep, I always do. Thank you so much, Julie. Have a great day. Stay safe.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. Bye. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.